one.
next one. Top five verses of the year. I think we should go do our top fives each again. And then for
One
the
by
albums,
one?
we can go back to like doing one at a time. We'll do this
Okay,
one
so
all
go.
five. The next one we'll go one by one. Yep.
Gotcha.
So for top five verses for me, this is so hard. Number 5 was JID, Mama's Prime Time on West Side Gun's album. I'm a JID stan, so this had to be there. JID, his vocal inflections just get me so much, and the way he phrases his things. And I always wake up with a line in my head, and I can't get it out. And one of them is, I hope they pay my whole fee like Lamar Jackson. And I just love that track so much. And I was so happy to finally get him on a West Side Gun album. Number 4, as I discussed before, Big Sean on Palisades, California. I played it, like, when I saw that music video, I played it over and over again. Him spitting so fast over that beat after starting slow. It's sick. Number 3, Dave, Stop Giving Me Advice.
Nice.
I'm just getting into Dave, and I love how he's able to balance having the funniest out-of-pocket lines with also having the realest lines coming up right before it. And I will touch on a line later in this episode that he said that is hilarious and real, and that is a great verse. Number 2,
Dave.
he's so good. And this new album, I think I'm gonna become a stan after this new album. I'm excited for it. In my heart, at number 2, I wanted to say From Cold to Summer for Summer Walker's album with J. Cole's verse on that. But let's be real, it's J. Cole The Recipe. That's his best verse of the year. And I think Drake tried doing the whole one rhyme scheme thing on his album way too much that he just dropped, because sometimes it can be a little much and you can change it up. But Cole, like, it's just so good on this song. And poor Yachty had to go first. And my number 1 of the year, Kenny Mason on D&D on the Paris, Texas album. It's just such a real verse. And he talks about, I wish I brought the line up, but he says how he's not a narcissist. He's so self-conscious, but he still knows his shit's better than your shit. And he talks about how sometimes as an artist, you give so much of your personal life out that when you talk to a fan, you feel seen through. And I thought just the way he described that is so interesting, because as an artist, you talk about some of the worst things that's ever happened to you. And then you meet a fan and they don't know you, but like they low-key know the very important parts of you because you do share that to the world. So I really enjoyed how he expressed it on that song. And it's a great album.
I've never thought about it like that. That's actually insane when you think about it. There's strangers that just know things about you.
They know a lot.
They know a lot.
Or they think they know a lot.
Yeah, the album is hard, the Paris, Texas.
And then Adam, we had a lot of things in common for our verses.
Okay.
2 specifically. I'm gonna say number 5, Doja Cat, Attention. I think that was a great song. I was happy to see Doja Cat rapping. I wish her album was just fully hip hop-ish rap. And of course, you can throw in the R&B stuff, but just less of the pop. But amazing song, amazing track, amazing
Because she
rapping.
marketed like that.
Yeah, I know. She had to, right? She's a pop star. Number 4, Dave, Stop Giving Me Advice. Dave is the guy. There's nothing much I can say. I think Dave is literally a top 5 rapper, and that includes the world, USA, UK. The guy's talented. I've been following him for a while. UK rap is staying strong, and I think right now it's in its peak. I think in a lot of conversations where people think hip-hop might be in a standstill, it's UK rap that's been increasing and progressing in every way possible. Number 3, I'm going to go Motherless by Killer Mike on his project. Michael, happy to see it nominated on the Grammys. Amazing rap album, one of the best rap albums of the year. A really vulnerable track. Go listen to that. Shout out to him. Number 2, I was between 2 songs, both by the same person, Travis Scott. Thank God in My Eyes. I still remember the first time I listened to Utopia, and I was like putting my clothes away, and I just noticed, man, I'm really bobbing my head to this verse on Thank God. That's crazy. He was spitting, My Eyes, the beat switch afterwards. He was killing it. I want to know your thoughts too, Joey, on Utopia after we're finished here. And then number 1, obviously, the GOAT. Come on, J. Cole, The Secret Recipe. I mean, bruh. What's wrong with this guy, J. Cole? Who's got him mad like this? Because this is not. He arguably had 2 of the best verses of the year. 2 of the best verses of the year. And I also want to know, I don't know if Joey was in here for this conversation about, if people were debating between Kendrick and J. Cole, if Kendrick was more active, then he would be spitting crazy features like Cole. Or in reality, is Cole just right now a better rapper? But hey, I'll take it away, and I'll leave it to Joey to say what he thinks.
That was a great list. For me, it's the active part, right? Like, it's if Kendrick was active, but he's not. So you can't say if Kendrick was active, he'd be better. Like Kendrick had a lot more output early on in his career, yes, and like it gave us some great features, but I think it's harder to do what J. Cole is doing versus taking 5 years off and then putting together like a great album after that. Like I think Cole is like super active and will be able to produce the quality in an album form that Kendrick was able to do by just like sitting out for 5 years. I don't know. That's my personal take on it.
No, and if you do wait that long, it's like if Kendrick comes out with a feature on Friday or tonight, people will go crazy over it because it's like he hasn't been here so long. Cole's doing it like every month, and it's still making news every time because the verse is so high quality, which I think that's the hard part. Because at a certain point, if they were bad verses, it'd be like, oh, another J. Cole verse, like maybe he should slow down. But each one's like better than the last one, so Cole, keep going. 2 features tonight coming out, or 3 features on the Boz album dropping tonight. Passport Bros is already out, but 2 new ones. 2 more chances for another verse of the year.
Do you not think he's doing too much? Or is it just he's just going off and he's doing so well it doesn't even matter?
It's perfect.
It's features though, right? Like he's doing a lot of these, like he's doing with a purpose. Like he's homies with Boz. Like Lil Yachty is like, it's almost like connecting 2 generations. So it's with Drake, that's like an iconic, like, you know, the big 3. So I feel like people are definitely complaining that it's like oversaturation, but he's doing features and each one like makes sense for what it is. It's not like he's like putting out a bunch of songs on his own that are just like mediocre or whatnot. Like he's doing features. So that's for me what makes it different.
I will also say for your choice for Travis Scott, we don't know if Travis wrote those verses. Could have been Sci-Hi might have the second verse of the year for Sam.
He's the goated. For me, he's top 50. That boy Sci-Hi. He writes for a lot of rappers. If y'all don't know,
really Quentin Miller.
Other good.
Anyways, it's my top 5 verses of the year. This is like really hard. I think at the end of the year, I'm gonna sit down and like all of my lists might be changed because it's just so hard to like really capture everything. But these were like the top 5 that like, you know, really came to mind first. So number 5, I got Benny the Butcher on Costas.
Fire one.
Yeah, I love that Ty Keith beat. Number 4, and Benny kills it, obviously. Number 4, I got Ransom on Stab Out. That was on Conway the Machine's album, Won't He Do It? I think that verse is disgusting. Number 3, Andre 3000 on Scientists and Engineers.
Great
one of the most, you know, memorable verses for me of the year. Number 2, I got J. Cole, but I'm actually going to choose a different track than what you guys chose. I'm going with Adonis Interlude. And the reason is because it's one of those experience things, like you said, Adam, earlier, like my experience listening to it when it first came out, like when watching it in the theaters, and then with like associating that with like Adonis Creed trading, and then me actually like listening to it all the time in the gym, like that, the amount of times I've listened to it and like how it's like stuck in my brain, that's just like gotta be a top 3 feature of the year to me. Or verse.
That soundtrack has a lot of low-key very good songs. I really like the West Side Boogie Kaz one.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
Yeah. I love those movies too, so it just like enhances the experience. And then number 1, I got Lil Wayne on Big Dog.
So good.
such a good verse. Lil Wayne is like he's on the crazy feature run right now. I need that new album, man. I really want to hear what he's like putting together
on good beats, because The Fix was not a very good EP. But when he gets on these features, I made my dad watch that music video because I'm like, watch how he says dog in all these different ways. My dad, he went right back on his phone, but I tried my best to put my dad onto that.
Nice.
I got 2 things to say. 1, Science and Engineers. Andre 3000, his verse in a long time. He hasn't done one in a long time. I like the verse, but I feel like people are overhyping it with the fact that it's Andre 3000, and that's my hot take. I do feel like if that was Eminem who made a verse like that, people would be like, that is the wackiest, corniest flow, you know, whatever hip-hop Twitter would say. But I feel like it's Andre 3000, and it's like the Bible. But I don't know. What do you think, Joey?
I think the overrated part is like separate. It's like people might think he's overrated because he hasn't dropped a solo album, whatever. I think that's more like there's definitely a legit argument you can have there, and like that's a debate for another day. That being said, I do think the verse is like solid, and you know, maybe it is just Andre 3000, and that's why it's so like memorable to me. But it was a standout on what I think is like one of the best albums of the year, personally.
Adam, am I tweaking or what? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's kind of similar to my point about the Kendrick feature run. Like, because if Kendrick comes out for the first time in 5 years, or when Hove comes out and makes a verse, it's like every single media outlet's tweeting the lines because like, whoa, Jay-Z's first feature in like 6 months. So I think there's a bit of that. Look, I think Future's verse in that was really good too. I like that song.
Good. Yeah.
And the one you picked, Sam, that's the one that he performed on like Jimmy Fallon and was like crying during it. If you know what I'm talking about, was that?
Who's this by?
Killer Mike performed one of his songs live, and he was like crying during it.
I forget the song. Yeah, I forget the song, but yeah, it might have been Mother. Maybe. We'll see. I think
it was. Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Yeah. So that's a great choice.